What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Compile Swift podcast. I'm your host, Peter Whittam. You can find this podcast at compileswift.com. Well, the week is over. WWDC24 is a wrap, and I personally feel it was a good one. And if you caught the previous episode where we did a roundtable talking with some other developers, there is a lot to take away this year, a lot to be excited about. Now the question becomes, what are the new things this year that you're going to take away and work on for the rest of the year? And I think that there's always something that we can all take away from the new technologies, or maybe the changes in technologies that we can incorporate into the applications in production already, or ones that we're planning. For me, I think that this is probably going to be the year that I convert things over to SwiftData. I feel comfortable with it. I've not had too many problems. I don't feel like there was any major shifts this year in SwiftData, which is good. A few additional things in there that I like, that I think I'm going to play around with and see where they take me. But I am curious what other folks are going to be doing. And if you'd like to reach out to me, Compile Swift on any of the networks, love to hear about that. Or go to compileswift.com. There's a contact form there. Love to hear what your takeaways are, what you're excited about, what you think you're going to be working on, or maybe there are some things that you think it's now time to retire. You don't need to have them in your application anymore. Something that I think is also interesting, and I hope to see adoption on, but I have not looked into the APIs yet, is a lot of the newer AI technologies. Yeah, okay, we knew Apple Intelligence was coming, but there are some in there that I think are very interesting from a user's perspective to help working with text. I think the easy comparison here is that Grammarly, for example, that service is somewhat Sherlocked this year, but I have not played with it to see what the new Apple Intelligence does as far as what it'll actually give me. I know that some of the features have not been released yet. For example, we don't have Swift Assist in Xcode, so we can't try that out. The new predictive syntax that they've put in there, I have been blown away by how good that is. I have been messing around with that. I've set up a Sequoia container and I put Xcode 16 on there, and I have been blown away by how helpful it is and how accurate it is. It has been predicting things based on the code that I've put in or pre-existing comments, and it's been pretty much nailing it. I'm really impressed. It is saving me a lot of time doing what I would call the mundane code. I'll give you a really quick example here. Setting up some properties and then making a custom init for it. It's been very helpful, way more than it has in the past. And it's even been very helpful guessing good names for a lot of my properties, which is quite surprising, actually, I had to be honest. I'll also touch on Sequoia. I have a container which has given me very few problems. The only problems I've had are the ones that I see every year and always sort of expect, which is, some of the applications I use are not quite compatible yet, especially related around audio technologies. No surprises there, really. A lot of that underlying core technology in the OS that is either changed or apps just need to adjust to use. I'm used to that. I'm running it on a separate container. Not a big deal. But I've had very few problems with Sequoia so far. Not to say that I've been pushing it too hard, because I'm not surprised if anything goes wrong at this point. They're beta ones, right? I mean, you get what you get. But if anything, I've been surprised at how good they all are. Being a game maker, something else I'm going to look into this year is RealityKit. I'm not sure yet how I'm going to take advantage of that, and I'm not sure if I'm going to use Apple's built-in tools or some third-party tools and then go into RealityKit, but I think it's a space worth exploring. I have some ideas of things that I want to do. I don't necessarily look at it from the perspective of the Vision Pro headset. I think that that's still way too early a day to put any great investment in from my perspective. But I am very interested in taking advantage of it for, say, like the iPhone, for example, which I think is still the best device for some kind of AR experience as far as time investment goes and the amount of user base out there compared to something like the Vision Pro, which I just don't see expanding anytime soon. Not that I have any insight into that. I just think that Apple is clearly taking early days on it and looking at it and saying, what should we do with this? Where's it going to go? How's it being received? There's no doubt that the iPhone is great for this kind of experience. So I'm probably going to be looking into that. Now, that said, on the Vision Pro, that tabletop I forget the exact name, but there's something like Tabletop Kit or something like that. That's interesting. I want to look into that further and see what that offers. I'm sure, like many of you, I have a massive backlog of WWDC24 videos to get through, and I know there were some in there talking about that particular topic. But on talking about the videos now, I have a lot of videos that I want to get through, and the way that I do this is I start by working through the videos that touch on the technologies I use, or ones that I plan to use very soon. And then I expand out to the ones that I'm interested about and just see what's going on there. But I thoroughly recommend to everybody, of course, that you check out the What's New videos, especially for things like Xcode, Swift, SwiftUI, all of those core platforms, because they'll pretty much affect all of us, if not absolutely will affect all of us. And so there's a good time investment in there. There's a lot of details in there that you just don't pick up from things like State of the Union and those kind of things. So that's what I got for you this week. Just a short sort of recovery as we're all moving on from WWDC and making our plans. Hope this has been helpful. If it has, you know what to do. Reach out, tell folks. You want to go the extra step and support the future of the podcast, go to patreon.com/CompileSwift. Greatly appreciate that. In return, not only do you get a thank you and a shout out on the podcast, but you also get the ad-free experience. So with that, folks, let's dive back into our code, and I will speak with you next week.